Most urgent care mistakes aren't caused by a lack of medical knowledge. They happen because the clinic is busy, the patient looks stable, and the first diagnosis seems reasonable enough that we just stop looking. Today's countdown is based on published urgent care prescribing research, malpractice claim analyses, and emergency department diagnostic error studies. There isn't a single database ranking every urgent care mistake from 1 to 5, so this list is a synthesis of the best available evidence rather than a precise prevalence ranking. Even so, these are the patterns that repeatedly show up in the research and continue to get clinicians into trouble. Let's start with number 5. Number 5, inappropriate prescribing. Urgent care creates the perfect environment for unnecessary prescribing. Patients have taken time off work, paid a copay, and understandably want to leave feeling like something was accomplished. When the waiting room is full, it can feel much easier to write a prescription than spend several minutes explaining why it isn't needed. A 2025 study of more than 22 million urgent care visits found that inappropriate prescribing remains a significant quality issue, particularly involving antibiotics, systemic steroids, and opioids. These medications absolutely have appropriate indications, but the mistake is prescribing them because the patient expects treatment rather than because the evidence supports it. A patient with 3 days of congestion, sore throat, and a cough may leave disappointed without an antibiotic, but unnecessary treatment exposes that patient to medication risks while reinforcing the expectation that every viral illness requires a prescription. A few extra minutes explaining why antibiotics won't help, what symptoms to expect, and when to return often provides far more value than the prescription itself. The next mistake has nothing to do with prescribing. It happens when we place too much confidence in a diagnostic test. Number 4, relying too much on diagnostic testing. Diagnostic testing is incredibly valuable, but it should support clinical judgment, not replace it. A landmark analysis of emergency department malpractice claims found that 58% of misdiagnoses involved failure to obtain an appropriate diagnostic test, while 37% involved incorrect interpretation of testing. These categories often overlapped, but together they show how frequently testing contributes to diagnostic error. The problem isn't simply ordering the wrong test. It's assuming a normal result completely excludes an important diagnosis. A normal EKG does not rule out every patient with ACS, and a normal wrist x ray doesn't exclude a scaphoid fracture. Whenever the history, physical examination, and test results don't fit together, that's your own signal to slow down. Sometimes the safest decision is additional testing, but other times it's splinting the injury, arranging close follow up, or sending the patient to the ER because urgent care evaluation cannot safely answer the question. That brings us to the foundation of every diagnosis. Number 3, an incomplete history and physical examination. Before we order a single test, our H&P exam remains the most powerful diagnostic tools we have. The same malpractice analysis found that 42% of misdiagnoses involved an inadequate history or physical examination, making this one of the most preventable errors in clinical practice. We've all seen how this easily happens. A hand laceration looks straightforward, so it's anesthetized before tendon function is tested. An ankle injury seems like a routine sprain, so the exam ends before assessing the joint above and below. The diagnosis isn't missed because it was rare. It's missed because one important part of the examination never happened. One habit that's helped me throughout my career is asking a simple question before leaving the room. What diagnosis would I regret missing? That brief pause often changes what I examine, what I ask, or whether I'm truly comfortable sending the patient home. Even if their evaluation, though, can't eliminate every risk. Number two, missing a serious time sensitive diagnosis. Some of the sickest patients in urgent care don't look particularly sick. Their vital signs may be normal, they may be talking comfortably, and their physical examination may be surprisingly subtle. The AHRQ systematic review of diagnostic errors identified conditions such as stroke, MI, appendicitis, DVT, and ectopic pregnancy among the diagnoses that repeatedly appear in emergency department diagnostic error research. Although comprehensive urgent care diagnostic error data are limited, these same conditions remain highly relevant because we often evaluate patients early in the course of their illness. The biggest trap is premature closure. Once we've decided the headache is a migraine or the chest pain is reflux, it's surprisingly easy to interpret every new finding in a way that supports our original impression instead of challenging it. Before discharging the patient, ask yourself one simple question. If this patient comes back tomorrow significantly worse, what diagnosis will I wish I had considered today? Sometimes the answer won't change your management, but other times it'll remind you that the patient needs additional testing, closer follow up, or evaluation in the ER. That brings us to the diagnosis most frequently reported in the malpractice claim and incident report data reviewed by AHRQ. Number one, missed fractures and orthopedic injuries. According to the AHRQ systematic review, fractures were the diagnostic error most frequently reported in malpractice claims and incident reports. Scaphoid fractures, Lisfranc injuries, occult fractures, tendon injuries, and Achilles ruptures can all look deceptively benign during the initial visit, especially when the patient's symptoms seem out of proportion to the imaging. The biggest mistake is allowing a normal x ray to override a concerning clinical examination. Imaging is only one piece of the evaluation, and some important injuries simply aren't obvious on the first study. When your examination and the x rays don't agree, trust the fact that something doesn't fit. The safest approach is often straightforward. Document a careful neurovascular examination, test tendon function whenever appropriate, splint the injury if clinical suspicion remains high, and arrange timely follow up. Patients are much more forgiving of wearing a splint they ultimately didn't need than they are of a fracture or tendon injury that was completely missed. If there's one theme connecting every mistake we've discussed, it's this. Diagnostic errors usually aren't caused by lack of intelligence. They're caused by anchoring too quickly, becoming overly reassured by one normal finding, or ending the diagnostic process before all the pieces fit together. None of us will eliminate diagnostic error completely, but we can reduce it by slowing down, just enough to challenge our first impression before the patient walks out the door. Those extra 60 seconds may be the most valuable minute of the entire visit. If you've seen any of these mistakes in your own practice, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear which one you think causes the most trouble in urgent care. And if you enjoy evidence based urgent care content like this, don't forget to subscribe because I've got plenty more coming. Thanks for watching.